Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so you guys know my feelings about watches and what I hope to get in the future, and which I mentioned was a Datejust. And actually, I'm the more I think about it, I'm really not feeling the Datejust. Okay, I don't know if that'll change, but when you like every single one of your watches more than this watch you're thinking about getting, once you get it, a lot of that novelty and a lot of that magic is gonna instantly wear off, and it's gonna become part of your collection. And I think you might have the realization that, like, wow, that was a couple grand on the train. Okay, couple grand that could be better spent elsewhere. So let's talk about some curious watches that have a strange feeling about, that I can't quite get my head around. Okay, the first one, as you guys know, I'm big into GMTs. I love the fourth hand. I think that's just such a cool complication and very useful. And so I love GMTs. And I tell you, a puzzling, interesting, fascinating watch is the Rootbeer. And my feelings on this watch have just sort of gone like this. Okay. The first time I saw it, I just was like, why would anybody want a brown dialed watch? It was weird, and it was just, why anybody would go that route, it was just something that I didn't understand. The idea of passing up, say, like a Coke or a Pepsi or anything for a brown dialed watch just didn't make much sense to me. I wouldn't have done it. And slowly I started to come around, and I gotta be honest, part of the reason is because of the name, the Rootbeer. I mean, root beer's just delicious stuff, right? If they called it chocolate or tobacco, honestly, I probably wouldn't have developed a liking for it. I know that's strange, but these terms play a role in how favorable it is in your eyes. The Hulk. I wouldn't want a watch called the Hulk. Okay, that sort of ruins it for me. All right, you call it what is something? You call it the what's something that's awesome and green? Emerald. I don't know. Emerald sounds a lot better than Hulk to me. Okay. Anyway, off on a tangent. So back to the Rootbeer. Okay. So first of all, I think just the fact that it's Rootbeer, and I love Rootbeer. Okay, that might have had a slight influence. Okay, but I just started really liking that brown dial. There's sort of this rich oldness to it, and it's two-tone. Okay, and I'm not much for the oyster two-tones, and I'm not much for gold. Okay, and but the gold Jubilee on the Rootbeer GMT is just, I tell you, it just looks really good. It goes so well with that brown. And I think, I started thinking about it on my wrist, and about, that's a two-tone I could do. I mean, it's a GMT. It's definitely different. It's definitely new. Well, it's not new, but it's not your everyday GMT for sure. And so I started really liking it. And that was sort of the point where I was like, wow, this could be watch number 4. Now, not realistically. I don't, way down the road, if that ever happens, okay? But I definitely would like that much more than a Datejust. All right. But then I started thinking about it more, and I think this is sort of a good thing to do when you're thinking about getting a watch, especially a watch that you might not think is you. Sometimes it's you see a watch that's not you, and you think, well, I don't know, maybe it could be me. I'd like to try it. Maybe I'd like to see if it is me. Who knows? Maybe two-tone is me, right? But I've been sort of thinking about it at odd times in the day. I'll be here or there, and I'll imagine having that watch on, and more often than not, I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't want it on now. Or I'll think about it another random time during the day, and yeah, I wouldn't really want it on now. It's just a little too much, a little too blingy, and a little, that gold. I'm just, like I said, I'm not a gold guy, and the two tones are just, they're a little too flashy, a little too ostentatious, I think. I like something a little bit more low-key. And, I think a Pepsi bezel GMT is pretty much, that's just eye-catching enough. Okay, I don't really want any more. And just the gold is sort of screams Rolex and look at my watch and all that stuff. So I found that I don't really, I can't really see any times where I would really want to wear it. I think it'd be one of those watches that I would break out every once in a while, and I don't even know when those times would be. I mean, would I just come home and put it on? I mean, it's kind of a waste. I mean, dare I say it, I think it would embarrass me at times. So, and I started thinking about it, and I realized that, during this period where it was really appealing to me, I was thinking in terms of a vacuum, meaning myself and the watch. And I think a lot of people do that, and myself included. You see pictures of these watches, and it appeals to you, but you don't think about how it's going to fit in your life, or how are you going to feel when people see it on your wrist, or what you're going to wear it with. It's sort of this vacuum of this watch and you, and devoid of your real life. And I think it's productive to imagine that watch in your real life. Okay, I'll give you another small example. And I've mentioned that I was thinking about getting an Air King for a while. It was a $2,000 Air King, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about it in a vacuum, myself and the Air King, and the history of the Air King, and what that meant to me, and so forth, and how I would appreciate it on my wrist. Now, when I'm sitting on the train, for instance, and a guy sits down with a date just, or what else do I see here? A date sub. Honestly, I might feel a little bit embarrassed to have a small Air King. Okay, it's a step down from those proper, Rolexes. Okay, I feel like the GMT, the Explorer 2, the No Date Sub, they all really hold their own. But the Air King sort of, it doesn't get a lot of credit. Look, it's an inexpensive model, and people, I think, give it more shit than probably it deserves. But it ain't a No Date Sub, and it ain't a 40mm sport watch. And thinking in that vacuum, it sort of appealed to me. But really, when I strapped it on, and I'm walking around, yeah, it's a Rolex, but pretty much every Rolex I'd see would be better than that Rolex. So, and I would have, if I hadn't thought about that, I might have gotten it and then come to realize, like, wow, this thing makes me feel sort of like in a way inferior. I'm not really going to wear it out much, and I'd probably shy away from it. So, thinking about watches in a vacuum it's sort of dangerous in a way. The Tudor Black Bay bronze. You can wear it with a suit, and if you wear a suit 5 days a week, it's not going to be really useful. Okay, it might have to be a weekend watch, and even then, I mean, are you gonna be able to pair it with clothes that look nice? When you just look at it in the vacuum, it's a really kind of cool looking watch and interesting and different, but is it going to fit in your real life? And how is it going to fit? And as cool as it is, if you sit across from a guy with a sub and a guy with a Rolex GMT, is the fact that it's a Tudor going to bother you? Or would it be a point of pride? So thinking outside of the vacuum is a good thing. And I've realized, thinking outside of the vacuum, that as interesting as it is, the root beer, I think, is just it's just not me. But I do like certain aspects of it. It's a cool watch, but it's not me. And the Gold Sub is not me. And there are a lot of things that are not me. And yeah, so think outside the vacuum before you plunk down your money. All right, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.